Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Schneider. Welcome to the Song Club.
I knew it was a bad idea to meet you here, my dear.
But now that we've done it, my heart, I don't even know what the words are anymore. It's been so long since I performed that song. But hey, everybody, welcome to the Song Club. I'm Bob Schneider. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome. If you're here because you're like, man, I want to figure out how to write them songs, you came to the right place. Most viewers here at the Song Club, or listeners, viewers if you're on YouTube, listeners if you're using old technology like your phone. Most viewers and listeners experience 99% improvement in songwriting by listening to the Song Club. So if you're one of those people, came to the right place. Hold on, I'm getting a fax. All right. It's Song Club 79, and once again, we're doing it. We're doing it like we should be doing it, I guess. Oh, I'm leaning in, getting in real tight on the thing. Dude, this is some good podcasting already off the bat. I can tell this is going to be a really good podcast. Here's what I'm going to do. Normally, I'd like rant. Not even rant. I just kind of talk about this and that. But this week, I think I'm just going to get right into the meat and potatoes of songwriting and the songs that I wrote this month and some old songs that I wrote a while ago that were new at one point. And in fact, some people believe that everything is now. And I would be one of those people. Now, it's a hard concept to really get your head into, because how can there just be now if you're moving? It's not a picture. It's not a still image. How can you be here, but then also be a young baby, and then also be an old dead person? Also, dinosaurs. Also, Jesus. All of those things, how can they be happening right now? Well, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to put your mind into that idea unless you walk through a couple of little, you can't just get there by thinking that. It's too hard. So really, you got to do a couple things. You got to logically walk yourself through some questions, which is, does the future exist right now? And the answer is no, of course it doesn't. And does the past exist right now? And the answer is no. Past is not here. The only thing that exists is this moment right now. And that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it will always be. And by always been and be, I mean that's the way it is, because all there is now, always. All right. Now that we've gotten there, then you're like, well, let's go back to the other thing. Well, when you go to the other thing, you got to let go of the idea that everything is what we think it is, which is like made out of stuff, mass. I'm going to be using some scientific terms. Mass. I don't know. Molecules. I don't know. Just like solid stuff like wood, steel, concrete. Look, if these technical terms are going above your head, I'm sorry. But if they're not, if you're like me, if you're a theoretical scientist like I am, I got my degree at University of Hard Knocks. And if you're smart like me, you can hear a word like concrete and still know what it is. Anyways, all I'm saying is you got to let go of that notion, and then you got to start believing, well, I guess it could possibly, there could just be the now if this was just an idea or a dream or something like that. Like a streaming service, you know, like live streaming service that we're enjoying, each of us, in our own little wherever we are. Then, yeah, I guess there could just be the now. Like, you know how like when you're dreaming, it seems like hours have passed, but then the scientists, sleep scientists, some of the most highly regarded scientists in the world are sleep scientists, I think. Like when you talk to like Nobel laureate winners, they're like, I know I'm a physicist, but the sleep scientists are doing the most. They're doing the most exciting experiments with their sleeps and the apnea research and the nose devices. Anyways, yeah. I mean, let's not shame physicists by pointing out the kind of work that sleep scientists are doing. All I'm saying is, yeah, if it's just a dream, if it's all an illusion, then yeah, there could be now. But I think there is only the now. So, yeah, but what about time, bruh? We just made that up. Because we're humans. We making stuff up. What's that color? Red. It's just some sounds that we've all agreed signify or point to something that seems red to us. I don't know. You guys know all this. Why am I even getting into this? What does this have to do with songwriting? A lot. I'll tell you that. And a lot of people be like, Bobby, you just JAMBLIN, which is a combination of rambling and jamming. It's like if Bob Marley was an intuitive scientist like myself, he'd be JAMBLIN. With JAMBLIN, the song would be different. Would it be better? I mean, it would be, of course. Look, we can't go back to the 70s and rewrite Jammin. With JAMBLIN, with JAMBLIN, oh, I just got demonetized. Like I was going to make a lot of money on this, by the way. My 3 million views. I do believe in the future I will have millions of subscribers on this channel. That's the kind of insane you're dealing with when you're dealing with the B-Schnids. All right, I do want to thank my Patreon members. If you're a member of my Patreon, thank you so much for your support. If you want to become one, go to Patreon, patreon.com/Bob Schneider. Even though I should probably change it to Busy Schniz, spelling's rough for some folks. It's just B-I-Z-Z-I. SCHNIZZZZZZZ. You just type Z's until you get tired of typing them. Busy Schniz. All right, let's get into it. It's the year of our Lord 2023. The month is October, unless you're in the future. These are the songs from the month of September. These are songs that I wrote last month. There's a couple good ones in here. There always are. You know that, though. If you've been here before, you know that I'm going to be baking up the cookies that you like. If I was baking up that bad batch, like most people, most songwriters are baking up the bad batch. There's a few people that aren't. Even the people that used to bake up the good batch, they're baking up the bad batch. It takes dedication to the craft, and your boy, he got that dedication to the craft. And your boy is me. Mama and Dada. Hey, Mama and Dada, I'm your boy. And I'm baking up the good batch mostly. Every once in a while I do bake up a batch that's, you're like, this could have used a little more sugar. Hey, Bobby, this batch could use a little more vanilla extract. Bobby, this batch could use a little more cinnamon. Bobby, this batch could use more semi-sweet morsel. I didn't get any morsels in this batch. Oh, they're there. Sometimes I tuck them in. Sometimes I run out, and I'll throw something else in there. Bobby, did you put cubed tuna fish in this batch? No. I don't ever put cubed tuna in shit, boy. I only put sweet, tasty delish in my stuff. All right. already there's a bunch of stuff I probably got to edit out of this, but I'll do that later in the editing room. Let's get to the first song. I'm just going to start with the best song, my favorite song for the month. Why not? Just start with the best and work my way down through the rest. This is a song called Away From Everywhere. I don't know what this song's about. I believe it's... So, I know what... I say I don't know what it's about, but here's what it's about. So for years, people have been trying to get me to listen to this Neutral Milk Hotel album, In a Plane Above the Ocean or something. I forget what it's called. Doesn't matter. And they'll always send me the song, like that song, like In a Plane Going Over the Ocean or whatever. And I don't think the song, like, it's the worst song on the album. So I'll listen to it and I'll go, yeah, this ain't my jam, boy. But then recently on a playlist on Spotify, the first song on that album came up on my like Discover Weekly, and it's called King of Carrot Flowers. And I was like, oh, this song's pretty good. Then I watched this documentary called Elephant 6 Recording Company or something like that. Could be rhinoceros. I don't know. It's like an animal and then a number and then a recording company. And it's basically about the bands that were associated with Neutral Milk Hotel that were around at that time, that were kind of all playing together and writing together, and they were like a little clan. Like with all clans, there's the king, and then there's the plebes. So these were all the plebes, and they were talking about how everybody was equal, and nobody's equal, because that's not what the world is. The world is there's a winner, and that guy's name is Usain Bolt, and then there's the losers. And that's all everybody else on earth. But then these people are like, yeah, but we ran in the race with Usain Bolt. And I'm like, where's your gold medal? Oh, you don't have one? Shut the fuck up. Oh, you don't have that gold medal? Bye-bye. So, yeah, so they're like, oh, we're all gold medalists. No, you're not. Anyways, it's a bunch of I say it's a bunch of warmed over shit. I'm sure there's some great songs in there, and I'm sure there's some great songwriters. I did try to go back and listen to all these bands on Spotify, because I've been trying to do this thing where instead of hating, I like actually investigate, listen. But I tried that with Neutral Milk Hotel. I tried listening a couple times, didn't like it. I will say this though, this month I listened to that entire record from beginning to end, and it is truly an incredible piece of music, if you want to call an album a piece of music. It is a beautiful, amazing, crazy album. The guy who wrote it obviously is insane, or was insane during that period. Like, was having some sort of... He was going through something, and it came out in his writing. I don't know what he was going through. I guess he found Jesus or something. That's what people say about him. He disappeared after that, I guess, and then showed up during Occupy Wall Street, like homeless looking. Anyways, the guy's clearly insane when he's writing this record, and it comes, and I love that kind of shit. Like, I love music where there's no faking going on. There's no faking. You can fake insanity. There's this guy named Cool Keith. He also goes by the name of Dr. Octagon. He's crazy. He's a rapper. And people will guest rap on his records. And they're pretending to be crazy because he kind of writes nonsensical, crazy raps that are incredible. But he's actually crazy. Anyways, having said that, I probably listen to the record now 2 or 3 times all the way through, which I hardly ever do anymore. And I'm fascinated by the way the guy writes, what he writes about, and the style that he writes in. And so there's a couple songs that I wrote this month that are definitely influenced by that kind of writing. And I feel like this one especially was influenced by that guy. So let's listen to it. It's called Away From Everywhere. Here we go. walked around the place. I like the way the sun hits your face. I think the feng shui's nice. It's pretty good for the asking price. I'm not the type that doesn't care. I care, I really do, I swear. What's mine is yours, it's yours to share. All I want's away from everywhere. To overshare, but all I want's away from everywhere. All right, there you go. Away from everywhere. My favorite song this month for sure, without a doubt. And it's also autobiographical. I do have a hard time doing this thing called having feelings, and by feelings, I mean just, actually being alive and having feelings is rough. So I like to dissociate from that by working, shopping, eating, you fill in the blank. Anything besides just sitting there and feeling whatever I'm feeling. Because here's the deal, dude. There's this idea that things are going to change in the future in some weird, uncontrollable way that I have no control over, and something bad will happen, or I'll lose something that I need, right, that I have somehow acquired, or I won't get the thing that I need, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on. But here's the thing. As I stated earlier, there's just now. And there will always only be just now. And we'll always live forever here in the now. It's comforting for me, maybe not for everybody. But I find that idea comforting. Again, hard to believe sometimes. And the feelings that you have don't necessarily reflect that intellectualized idea. Dude, we got super deep. I feel like I'm going mono with that Philosophize This channel, which is a hugely successful podcast. But also that guy's just learned some other guy's shit and then regurgitating it. So am I better than him? I mean, yeah. Am I smarter than him? I guess. I mean, I don't want to be. I don't want to be better or smarter. But when you are, what can you do? Acknowledge it humbly, which I do. And move forward. But by moving forward, I mean stay in the same spot, because I'm going to keep hammering it home. There's only now. That's the other thing, too. The Buddhists, they're like, all you've got to do, well, you don't have to do anything. The Buddhists are like, whatever you want to do. Like the Christians are like, you better do what we say or you're going to pay, bitch. You do as we say, or you're going to pay. And like, so what do I got to pay? Because I really don't feel like doing what you want me to do. Well, the payment plan for you is an eternal damnation. Oh shit. That seems steep. Yeah. And then they'll be like, well, we didn't create the payment plan. That's, the CEO's God. And he decided that eternal damnation is the way to go. Seems steep though. Seems psychopathic. Yeah, but, that's the way it is. Sorry. So, do what we say. Here's the money slot. Put your money in there. Like, I don't think I'm going to do that. And then the Buddhists are like, whatever you do is fine. Whatever you do, it's fine. What about killing the worms? Well, we're not going to kill the worms. But If you feel like you got to kill whatever you want to do, it's fine. And their whole thing is like, well, we're trying to, be in the moment. We're trying to live in the moment. Because if you're in the moment, like I was talking about, that's when you're the most serene and the most at peace. It's when you're thinking about the future or the past that the distress starts rearing its ugly, anxiety-filled head. But also, hey, Buddhists, we're always in the now, no matter what you do. So I had this. Look, let's just stay philosophical. This will be the most philosophical song club yet. When I was in my 20s, I had this idea that I was gonna try to. I knew a guy I say my 20s, but it was in my early 30s. I knew a guy. He drew a tree every day, and I was like, I'm going to try to look at a tree. I'm not going to fucking draw. What am I going to take all the time in the world to draw a tree every day? Fuck no, I don't have that kind of time. I got to be doing shit like, I don't know, enjoying my life, I guess. So I decided I was going to try to look at a tree every day. And there's a point for doing that. But what I realized by looking at these trees was, I just remember what it was. I would look at a tree and try to see it, because when you look at a tree, you don't really see a tree. What you do is you look at the tree, and then your brain goes, that's a tree, and then you have all this information about trees. It's wood, it's leaves, brown, green, elm, oak, cedar, whatever. All the information that you've learned about trees. I mean, I'm an intuitive scientist, so I have a lot of info. But you're not really actually seeing what's there. If you could see what's there, it looks like some sort of weird monster coming out of the ground and exploding into like a giant head of leaves. Of course, you don't see that, and you don't think about that because you're like, oh, well, trees aren't monsters. They're not going to attack me and eat me. Because you've seen trees before and you know what they do and you know their behavior because you have all this information about trees, but you're not seeing the tree is what I'm saying. So I was trying to look at trees and see them for what they actually were, the monsters that they were. And when I say monsters, I mean like cool monsters, like a monster that you would see in a painting, like at a museum. Anyways, looking at these trees every day, I realized at some point I thought, wouldn't it be nice to be a tree instead of a human being? Because human beings are complicated. I have all these feelings. I'm like jealous, I'm angry, scared, sad, all these things that are hard. And I was like, man, if I was a tree, like that tree is not envious of this other tree. It's not like looking at the other tree and going, I wish I had a bigger tree dick than that tree over there. Or I wish more birds nested in my hair. Look at that tree. It's got an eagle's nest. That would be cool. I wish this, whatever, trees. I was thinking, well, like trees don't do that. The trees just are themselves. They're like, they put their roots in, they go for the water in the ground and nutrients, and then the leaves are looking for some sunlight to convert all this shit to whatever, oxygen, blah, blah. It's scientific, don't worry about it. And they're just being trees. They're being themselves. And then at some point I realized, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm just being a tree. I'm just being a human being. So everything that I do, I'm just like the tree. Like, I can't not do me. I can't not do what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm just looking for the water and the nutrients and the sun. And no matter what I do, I can't get away from that. Anyways, that leads into this idea that there's no such thing as free will, which technically there isn't. Anyways, it was an interesting thought experiment. I thought I'd share it with you. Maybe a little bit on the what we call boring side. Who knows? Or maybe you're fascinated. Who knows? Let's listen to another song. This is another new song. It's called When the Light Appears. Oh no, you know what? Let me do another. Let's save that one for later. Let's do this song called No One Will Save You Tonight which I feel like is another song that was definitely influenced by this Neutral Milk Hotel record, which, by the way, I can't recommend highly enough. I would start at the beginning, listen all the way through. It's a real, it's one of those albums where there's a story. Maybe it's a subconscious sort of thing, but it tells the story of an experience that this person's having in their life. And it's pretty incredible. All right. So here's another song that was influenced by that style of writing. And here we go. It's called No One Will Save You Tonight. Let's crank it, though.
I'm going to California. Bet you're sweet as I am. I'm gonna leave you lonely. You'll never see me again. And no one can stop me. No one can stop me now that I'm free. The curse of the demon, it's not something you want. It'll bury all your treasure and leave you the forest to haunt. No one will save you. No one will save you tonight. No one will save you. No one will save you tonight. I was a shadow of a cloud on a lake one night.
I was the shadow of a cloud on a lake one night. Pretty good. Pretty good little rhyme. The next line was, this is something I can neither confirm nor deny. Pretty good. But again, definitely influenced. Now, if I got on a documentary and said, oh, what I'm doing is exactly what that guy was doing, then you could call me up on my phone and say, hey, my bullshitometer is pinging out in the red because, yeah, it's not Neutral Milk Hotel. It's Bob Schneider's oat. It's not even oat milk. It's like Bob Schneider's refreshing juice. Yo, would you like a cup of Bob Schneider's refreshing juice? No thanks. Hey, I got some fresh, refreshing Bob Schneider juice. You in? No. 9 Danke for the Germans, and also no, senor for the Portuguese. All right. Let's listen to another song. We're just now that we're in the songs, I just want to keep listening to these songs. This is a nice batch. I was at a one of these get-togethers where the kids in my daughter's class get together, all the kids, and then the parents are there, and so you end up talking to the parents. Most of the time you're talking to these parents, and it can get real boring real quick because you don't have anything in common, really. And a lot of these people are like software people. So nothing against software people. A lot of my closest friends are software people. But then, I don't know. It's just person to person. It's not really what you do. It's who you is. Anyways, I was talking to this lady who seemed super nice. And she was telling me that she was listening to George Jones. And is it George Jones? I think it's George Jones. Jesus. That's how bad my brain is. And she was saying, is that okay? Because the school I go to is kind of like crunchy granola style. And yeah, it's George Jones. Jesus Christ. Anyway, she goes, is that okay? And I'm like, hell no, that's not okay. that shit's straight up racist. And then she told me she was listening to Action Bronson. I'm like, that's even more racist, even though neither. I mean, Action Bronson's not racist at all. And who knows about George Jones? There's some implied racism just with that 70s country. Even though, you don't know. But just the way he's... Anyways, I was like... So anyways, I was just giving her a hard time because it was fun to give her a hard time. She was a nice lady, and it was fun, making her squirm a little bit by saying that. So... But on the way home, I was like, man, I've never listened to George Jones. And people always talk about how great of a songwriter he is. So I'm like, let me do what I said I would do, which is like investigate instead of hate. So I put on George Jones radio on Spotify. And dude, George Jones, that shit is like, it's like taking a thing of Aunt Jemima syrup. Or log cabin syrup, or whatever syrup you want to... No, not Aunt Jemima. Mrs. Butterworth's. It's like taking a bottle of Mrs. Butterworth's, opening your mouth, and just dumping it directly from the bottle into your face. That's what George Jones sounds like to me. Well, hotter than a $2 pistol, diddle dim dang diddle diddle dim ba ba. Dude, I was fucking loving some George Jones. You know, like when you take a battery, like a 12-volt battery, and you put it up to your tongue and you get that tingle? I'm feeling it right now just talking about it. Anyways, I listened to a bunch of fucking George Jones. Now, at a certain point, you can only drink so much Mrs. Butterworth before you go, Jesus Christ, I need some nutrition. But I did listen to a fuck ton of George Jones. And then I wrote this song. Let's listen to it. It's called When the Light Appears. When the light appears. When the light red dress, the color of the sky. Married another and left me here to die with nothing left to lose. I've wasted all these years waiting for the time when the light appears. Oh yeah, get my George Jones on, boy. I built a mighty fortress made of stone, filled it full of diamonds, lived here all alone. There's this thing in the kitchen that I filled up with tears, waiting for the time when the light appears. Also, these songs, you will just want to sing them. I bought a monkey to save me from this hell, but that monkey went and left me, and it's probably just as well. They like to bite you when they get to be as old as an old lump of coal. Oh my God. As old as an old lump of coal like me. Yeah, that's some George Jones shit, son. Do like me some George Jones. Again, don't want to listen to it for too long. In fact, may never listen to it again. But that's not true. I'm sure at some point I'll listen to it just to, I don't know, get in that 70s country mood. It's good. It's good. That The Way It Used to Be, or whatever that song is. Basically, this guy's rolls up in this Corvette, and some old creep is like, I like the look of that, boy. And he's like, oh, here you go. Here are the keys. Take it for a spin. And his girlfriend's in the car, and he's like, I wasn't talking about the car, bitch. I was talking about your lady. And he's like, give me them keys back. Hotter than the $2 pistols, halibus, and diddle 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 there. Underline racism. Even though there isn't, but you know, there's a lot implied in that kind of delivery system. All right, let's listen to another new one. This is a song called Just Do It. This is I do feel like this is the month where there's some real heavy influences. Like I do like to. I mean, here's the thing: if you're writing a song, you're going to be influenced by stuff. You're going to be influenced by anything you've ever heard or seen or done. Now, I'd like to shy away from my influences. I don't want to lean into them when I'm writing a song, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll go see a band and I'm like, I'm going to go home and write a song just like this because it's so much fun. Or just, yeah, that's part of the deal. It's like making a piece of art. You go to the museum and like, oh, I'm going to do something just like this. This is really cool. And then while you're trying to do the thing that you really like, especially if you're me, because I'm not very talented musically, I'm like technically not very gifted. So while I'm trying to write the song that I hear in my head, I end up writing something different because I don't know how to actually play what I hear. So you end up getting something different. So this next song I started writing and I'm like, God damn it, this song sounds like another song, and I could not figure out what it was, but it was driving me crazy. And I sent it to the group because I have a group of songwriters that I send my songs to every week. And I was like, hey, if you guys know what this song is, let me know. And nobody listened to it. I don't think anybody listened to it. Nobody came back with any ideas or conclusions. But at some point, my brain, just like AI, my subconscious was gnawing away at it like little rats trying to get to the cheese information. And eventually my brain came back and goes, oh, I know what song it is. It's Summer Lovin' from the Grease soundtrack from the 70s when you were a kid. And the Summer Lovin' song goes dun, 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 dun. Summer lovin' happens so fast. By the way, watch Grease. Now that we all know that John Travolta likes massages from young men, watch Grease again. It's interesting. By the way, John Travolta, if I was going to hook up with a man, John Travolta from Grease, that's the guy I'd probably want to hook up with. Or maybe do a three-way with him and Olivia Newton-John, who was probably 40 when she made that movie, but was trying to pretend to be a teenager. All right. Anyways, I pulled up the song and listened to my song and realized there's some similarities. The similarity is the dun, 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 but the actual melody is different. The chord progression is different. And of course, obviously, it's different enough to where I'm like, okay, now that I know what song it is, I'm okay with whatever, putting this out in the world and saying it's different enough. Let's listen to it. It's called Just Do It. It's from the Grease 3 soundtrack. That's Just Do It. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty nice song, I guess. And it could, maybe the mix could use a little bit. It could use a little bit of a remix, I think. Vocals are a little low. Anyways, we'll see about that. I'm thinking about putting all these songs on Spotify eventually. Not right away, but some of the old... I've talked to some of the folks on Patreon, some of my Patreon subscribers, and they're like, hey, you know, we love having these songs. We love getting them early. We love getting them each month in our mailbox. But then, you know, the songs from a year ago or the songs from 2 years ago or 6 months ago, it would be nice if those were someplace where we could just easily access them, and everybody's using streaming services, either Apple or Spotify. So could you put them up on there? And I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So at some point, very shortly, some of the old songs, not this month's songs, but songs from a few months ago or last year or 2 years ago, those will start going up on Spotify so that you'll be able to find them easily and also share them easily with other people instead of having to like figure out how to download them to your computer and find an old song that you liked but don't know how to access it. So hopefully that'll make it easier for you guys to get older songs, but still songs that may never see the light of day. Like a lot of these songs that I write never go on studio records. For years and years, I had all these songs that nobody ever heard, or they heard if maybe they came to a live show. And even then, some of these songs I'll only play a couple times and then never play them again. So they like having all these songs because everybody's, you know, got different tastes and you never know what anybody's going to like. So let's go look at some of the older songs that are on this month's Song Club. This is one of my favorites called Paraplegic Blues. I was shocked when I found out that I'd never put this song on a song club. I mean, I've been doing it almost 5 years now, and you think at some point I'd have used up all my good songs, but it's just not the case. Especially not with this one. This is a great song, and it's about. I guess it's sort of based on. Maybe it's based on that character from Forrest Gump, the guy who, the paraplegic guy. I don't know. I do like this character in the song. Let's listen to it. It's called Paraplegic Blues. Let's crank it, boy. Oh, shit. Who's that band? Oh, it's me. I didn't know I played accordion. Who knew?
Look, Mom, I never found my leg turning into something I ain't never seen before. You should have seen them nurses' faces when they rolled my ass through the door. Before I was touch and go, they didn't know for sure if your boy was ever gonna see another day no more. Now I'm rolling through the streets of Mississippi, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do. My girlfriend left me, but it's cool. She said that we should take a break, 'cause that's for young folks with the whole life stretched out before I'm off and due. You can climb up on the mountain, take a look into the valley with the sun shining on you with the spiral rays of light.
Oh, I'd never say that.
Yeah.
Never say those words anymore.
But you still ain't gonna know the answer. That's alright.
That's funny. That's a verse that I cut out because I had too many verses. And that was one I cut out and don't sing anymore. But I wrote that song a long time ago. I don't know when. No, probably at least 10 years ago. I'm sure somewhere there's a thing that tells me. Let's see if I can find it. Date added. Oh, it says I added that. Oh, no. 2005 is when I wrote that. So it doesn't seem that long ago, 2005, but it was 18 years ago. 2005 doesn't seem that long ago. It just seems like, oh, that just was yesterday. 18 years ago. Holy mother of Bob Schneider juice. Great song, though. And I'm so glad that you get it if you're in the song club. If you're in the song club, you've already gotten it because this podcast is coming out a few days after you've received your songs in Patreon. So I hope you're enjoying that song. I know it's one of my faves. and I love playing it. And maybe we'll play it this Monday at the Saxon Pub. All right, let's listen to another one. This is a song called Polar Bears. And for a minute, so I have this song game. It's a bunch of songwriters. I send out a phrase every week. Everybody has to write their own song, incorporate the phrase into the song, and then we send each other our songs. And it's really just an excuse for me to write a song every week. It gives me a deadline. Otherwise, I just wouldn't write every week. And I think it's important to write every week, just like I think it's important to work out. Now, I don't work out every week or every day or hardly ever, but I do write songs. That's what I do. I feel like I should do it, and I think it's important. So it's a lot of words to say I write songs every week. But a lot of people have come and gone in the song game, and they'll write for a few weeks, and then they're like, that's not the way I write. I just write when I feel like writing, and sometimes that's almost never. Sometimes, they'll break up with somebody, and then they'll write a bunch of songs about the breakup or whatever. So I've had a lot of people kind of come and go because they go strong for a week or two, and then they're like, I don't want to write a song this week, and then I got to kick them out of the group, because if you're not writing, then you get kicked out. So one of the guys I had in the group was Mike Doty, who's one of my favorite lyricists, favorite songwriters of all time. He famously was in Soul Coughing, and then now just has been a solo artist for 25 years or however long it's been. I saw Soul Coughing a few times live. When I saw them the first time, they were opening up for Jeff Buckley, and I thought, Soul Coughing might be the best band in the world right now when I saw them. And then I saw them again a few years later, and they were still great. Truly one of my favorite bands of all time. Those 3 records are incredible. Definitely one of those, obviously Mike Doty did all the heavy lifting with that band. Lyrically, it truly is some of the best lyrics, for my taste, of any lyricist ever. But the music also was very important to those songs. But not as important, and probably I think what they did in that band was everybody was like, well, everybody's going to get an equal piece of the songwriting revenue or whatever. And back in those days, that could be substantial. And if you're writing the songs and then all of a sudden the drummer wants, the drummer is important. All four of the members, it's 4 guys: a drummer, a guy playing samples, a bass player, and then Mike Doty, the singer, would play guitar. They were all very important. They all created that sound together, but it shouldn't have been an equal split. The drummer shouldn't have gotten as much as Mike Doty. There's probably a way to work that out, but artists aren't businessmen, and they don't know how to do business or work out business or come up with deals. And so I understand. So sometimes the only thing you can do is just go, well, fuck it, I'm just going to blow the thing up and then do my own thing, and then we don't have to worry about it. I would love to see Soul Coughing get together at some point, but they probably won't. Just like the Scabs will never get together again, my old band. It just is not going to happen. And I know there's a few people that would love to see it, just like I'd love to see Soul Coughing, but sometimes you have irrevocable differences and you just can't figure it out. All that is saying Mike was in the song game for a few weeks and then was no longer in the song game. And but one week he was like, hey, this week let's write a song, and you can only do one take of it. No overdubs, no crazy demos, which is what I do. I like to spend a lot of time making these sort of demos and multi-tracking it and adding all the instruments. It's called polishing a turd lots of times. And I was like, all right, I'm up for the challenge. So I wrote this song, Polar Bears, and then played it on piano and sang it at the same time and turned that in. And then he was like, oh, I meant just riff on the phrase. Don't, just make it up on the spot. Improvise the song on the spot and send that in. I was like, well, I didn't understand that that's what he wanted to do. I don't know how great that would be. I don't know how productive that would be to just riff. I mean, because that's what you do every time anyways. You just, when you write a song, you're just kind of improvising it, and then you go in and you fix the parts that don't work. So I didn't do that, but he did it. He turned in something that was kind of cool. But I turned this song in, which I was like, I can't believe I played the whole thing and sang it at the same time and didn't make any mistakes. I like the song a lot, and it was definitely one of those where, like, because I'm such a fan of his work, I really wanted to impress him, so I think I spent a lot of time writing, figuring out the lyrics, and doing something that I was proud of so I could send it and go, look at this, motherfucker. All right, let's listen to it. It's called Polar Bears. And that's not the song. There it is. I'll edit that out later.
Words as big as bears, big ass polar bears are trying to escape from me. And I know if they do, even if they're true, well, all the harm those big old words can do. So it's calm on the outside, bombs on the inside. This place is fucked up beyond repair, and there's nowhere to hide here. It's emotional suicide, dear. I'm a psychoanalyzer, a falsehood improviser. So lock the kids into the closet with the gas. So lean the trees against the ground.
That's definitely my favorite line in the song. Lock the kids inside the closet with the gasoline, the trees into the ground. Pretty good. Yeah. But that was me trying to, like, you know, impress one of the great songwriters, one of the great lyricists. I was like, oh, you got some great lyrics, but so do I. Check out this. Anyways, I think he said he liked the song. I think he also, I think he was also like, hey, motherfucker, I thought we were just going to improvise these songs. I didn't understand that's what you meant. Let's listen to another song. So this is, I got two more songs. We're getting towards the end of this. This hour's flown by for me. Probably not for you, especially when we're doing that philosophical stuff. That's a lot of heavy brain baggage to carry around, especially through the airport. This next song is called Popular Promise. This is actually a live version. So I wrote the song. I was on the road. We were playing shows on the road, and I tried to do a demo of it. Back in those days, I would carry around. I had my little laptop and a little thing that I would do on the bus. I tried to do it on the bus. It didn't sound very good. And I was like, well, we were doing a sound check, and I was like, hey, can we play this song? I'll just get like a live version of it. And so what I did was I recorded the music like live on the stage and then edited it together on the bus later. So it has an interesting sound to it. It's definitely better than the one I was just doing on my own. So this was probably the guys I was playing with at the time. Might have been Raphael on drums, Raphael Guile. Might have been the drummer, but it might have been Conrad Chacroon. And then bass, of course, was Bruce Hughes, and guitar was either Jeff Plankenhorn or Billy Harvey. It says I wrote this song in 2005, but it has the exact same date as Paraplegic Blues, so it might have been before that. Either way, I don't know. who the people are that are playing these instruments. But let's listen to it. It's called Popular Promise. See if we like it. So yeah, that's that stage board sound.
It's a popular promise.
And that's me singing it in the van on the bus afterwards.
It ain't powdered sugar. It ain't no terrible bite.
Oh, that might actually be me on stage. That's Bruce.
It's easy as breezy. It's all yellow and blue. You said to them, yeah. You said to you, then it's it's a popular promise. It's all white and it's black. It's so easy to say. It's so hard to take back. It's the will of the Lord.
It's the will of the Lord.
It's the only thing true. Just 4 little words.
4 little words?
Baby, I love you.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Then it's
on. That's definitely got some meatloaf. Don't let your meatloaf. It's definitely got some meatloaf influences for sure. Some that'll be in my musical Don't Let Your Meatloaf. A tribute to Meatloaf, but songs that I wrote, not Meatloaf. All right, well that's about it. There's we got one more song that'll take us out of here. It's called When Daddy Come Walking in the Room. And I feel like this is loosely based on my wife's father, Mr. Moore, Jeff Moore. He's raised 3 girls, did a great job. Him and his wife, Veronique, raised 3 wonderful women. I'm lucky to be married to one of them. They're very, very formidable, smart, wonderful women that he raised. But also Jeff is a very he can be foreboding. Like, I would not want him getting mad. So the idea behind this song is like everybody's, fucking around, fucking the place up or whatever, and then dad, everything's fun and games until daddy comes walking in the room. And then everybody's like, oh shit, I guess we're in trouble now. Anyways, but then there's also just some random talk about my penis size in this song, which is disquieting to say the least, but whatever. It's the song. And, whatever is what I'm saying, but also disquieting. All right. Thanks everybody. Thanks Patreon. Remember patreon.com/Bob Schneider. Join the song club. You can get all these songs, all the other songs from the past, some other stuff, lyrics, stuff like that. All right. Also, maybe some access to some live shows. We're thinking about doing more live shows, just for Patreon, or just where the chat's accessible, to the Patreon people. Anyways, we haven't done any of those in a while, and I'm going to do some of those coming up. That's going to be great for people that don't live in Austin who can't come to the Saxon every Monday. Thanks again. Here's When Daddy Comes Walking in the Room. We'll see you next month. Take care. Bye. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Daddy come walking in the room.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Throw that TV off the 7th floor. Police busting down your
All right.